And good evening, one and all, and welcome back to the Blue Rose Respite for my soothing Sunday night stream. Thank you all so very much for joining me this evening, and I'm so excited to continue the story of Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. When I was looking back through my post to see when the last time I streamed this game was, it was about 3 weeks ago, so it has been a bit of a, it has been some time since we've lurked the shady, mysterious streets of New York City as a new kindred, but I'm very excited to see what lies ahead. Elijah, hi, how's it going? Welcome to the Blue Rose Respite. Take a seat and enjoy yourself. You're just in time, we were just getting started tonight. But I hope everyone is doing well this evening. As you may have seen on my social media posts, I didn't get exactly a very restful night's sleep last night. So tonight's stream will be running just a little bit shorter than usual, maybe closer to an hour and a half to 2 hours. But we're just going to see how things go. And yeah, but just a heads up for the rough timing for tonight's stream. But thank you all so very much for joining me tonight. I have a wonderful gin and tonic with me this evening. Oh yes, that's a very good point, Wolf Warrior and Salva Holder. We do need to have a bit of a recap as to where we last left off. From what I could remember, we had done some deals on behalf of Sophia, our wonderful new, I won't say patron, more like she's taken us under her undead wing. So I believe chat and I have now referred to her as Mummy. So Mummy sent us out to do some errands for her, and we're beginning to strengthen our coterie of fellow kindred. And we had at the end of the stream, because I wanted to leave it on a bit of a cliffhanger, I remember we had a conversation with Qadir, who just suddenly burst into our apartment one night just to rant a little bit, just frustrated, and he wanted to discuss tying up our loose ends from our mortal life, which included settling matters with our former boss. So that is going to be very interesting to see how that goes, because knowing my luck, I will fuck it up royally. Excuse me, Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Sorry. Mommy? Yes, the boss who royally screwed us over. So, I want to look at some of the newer stories that have popped up, rather than speaking to our coterie members, our wonderful Malkavian, Nosferatu, Gangrel, and Tremere. Zakonis, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm having a good evening. I hope you are as well. Take a seat and enjoy yourself. I believe this is your first time with us tonight. And Qadir and Sophie used to date. Vampire parents, we're going to get them back together. Who knows? We might end up, like, full-on, like, parent trapping them, the two of them together, because they'll be united by their love for us. Maybe we'll get, like, strategically kidnapped and both of them will have to come and save us. And yes, that's right. There was the vampire hunter in the church that we do have to keep an eye out for, because I imagine that's not resolved quite yet. So let us see. That's right, we were also getting stalked, weren't we? Let's see how this is going to resolve itself. Somebody's watching me, part 2. Last time you failed to resolve the situation with your stalker. Yeah, you have to get a handle on that one way or another. Why don't we take a look at this? Now, just as this is around a plot of seemingly a very interested fan of ours, possibly, or they might have more malicious intent. Just a heads up, with this particular storyline, we might be encountering themes of obsession and stalking patterns, so just a quick content warning going ahead. Just an overall content warning with this game. This is set in World of Darkness. It deals with some heavy subject matter, so please practice self-care. If you need to step away at any point, please do so. Walking down the street near your haven, you suddenly spot a young, disheveled woman leaning against a wall. She looks you straight in the eye and disappears into the alley. She is your stalker. You're certain of it. Hi, Kylie. How's it going? Oh, it's so good to have you back. We missed you. You take a few running steps to catch up with her, determined to find out what this is all about. Ducking into the alley, you come upon a grisly scene. An old man, a pensioner really, lies broken on the ground. Telltale puncture marks on his neck. 3 vampires stand above the corpse, licking their lips. All were embraced young. 2 men and a woman. Black hoodies, bicycle chain, a facial tattoo. They're either Sabbat or it's just like a group of Bruja, maybe. All the Anarchs! You've never seen them before, but you assume you know why. They're Anarchs. Hey, it's the Camarilla bitch, just as promised. Did our stalker screw us over? I like beating up these privileged little shits. You walk into the simplest ambush in the world. The woman you saw briefly at the mouth of the alley is nowhere in sight. Perhaps that shouldn't be surprising, given her obvious powers of invisibility. I'm a Ventru. I'm not one for more physical altercations. Let's just try and calm this down. Whoa, let's calm down. There's no need for violence. The Anarchs come closer, crowding you menacingly. Oh yeah? What if I'd like a bit of violence? Oh, they don't give a shit that it's Camarilla territory. Oh no, wait. Maybe they do. Because this isn't the Sabbat. Like, the Anarchs, if they do shit on Camarilla territory, they should know that there will be hell to pay. Then again, we're assuming that they're Anarchs. We don't know if they're Anarchs. Weird flex? I have powerful friends. Does the name Sophie Langley mean anything to you? Maybe not drop her name. The Anarchs look at each other with uncertainty. They clearly recognize Sophie's name. One of them whispers to the others. Maybe this is a bad idea. I've had Langley's trouble. The other Anarchs glance at you nervously. You try to look authoritative and unconcerned, as if you know Sophie has your back. Maybe she does. It's hard to tell how powerful anyone in this new shadow world... it's hard to tell how powerful anyone is in this new shadow world. These Anarchs clearly respect Sophie. Next time we see you, you're fucked. The Anarchs walk past you out onto the street, shoving you around a little. Once they're gone, you take stock of the situation. There's a corpse on the ground. Your mystery stalker doesn't seem to mind if you get hurt. You're about to leave, but your conscience doesn't let you. Better preserve the masquerade. You kneel to lick the dead man's wounds closed before you leave the alley. See? Preserve the masquerade, goddammit! Oh, they just wanted us to, like, get a message, just like, oh. Maybe our stalker's with the Anarchs. And this is just like to test our mettle and our morals. But the moon's getting low in the sky. Let's rest. Knock knock. You'd ask who's there, but you don't know if the sheriff or the New York City would play along. Guys, it's Qadir! Oh, the only thing that would top this off is if this game had voice acting. Oh. Sorry, I don't know why I got all flustered for a second. When you open the door, you see him toying with the car keys he's holding in his hand. Ready to go, fledgling? You don't feel like it, but you give him a nod nevertheless. Excellent. Stay close. He leads you down to the vehicle he's parked nearby. Once again, he takes the wheel, literally and figuratively. See, chat, I know we all had good taste. Everything inside is just the way you remembered it, down to the rear view mirror reflecting the intense stare of your guide. However, the trip itself feels notably different. The last time Qadir drove you around, he was forcibly dragging you away from your old life. This time, he's pulling you back into it. Goddamn Newman. You're getting violent just thinking about him. Let me tell you how it's gonna go. As I said, I've arranged a meeting between you and your kin. It's going to take place somewhere you should know very well. I'll watch over you two from a safe distance to make sure you adhere to the rules. You should know those very well, but I'll reiterate just so you can't ever say I didn't warn you. Don't do anything that would violate the Masquerade. Don't establish some secret routes of contact. I will know. Do treat it as the last time you two will meet. Take this chance to wrap everything up. Here's your story. You're fine. You're fine. Found yourself at a crossroads. Decided to radically change your life and move out of the city. The subway is unbearable. The rent too high. They've heard it all. However, you do not appreciate being accused of a crime you didn't commit. So you're back, both to clear your name and strike fear into the heart of the real culprit. By now, you should know how to cause fear among the living, right? He smacks at you. Have fun. As long as you two don't leave a mess for me to clean up, we should be good. The car makes a sudden turn. Excuse me. I'll leave the finer details to you. Just be so kind and don't make me regret it. You sense he's going out of his way for you, but doesn't try to force you into gratitude by stating it plainly. If you know, you know. He'll see if you're worthy of his aid. We're here. You take a look around and recognize your destination. He was right. Kylie. Sorry, I love Hadestown. I love Hadestown so much. So you saying you can imagine Qadir's voice sounding like Patrick Page? Holy shit, am I 100% behind that? Sorry. Head empty, only Patrick Page. Also, just to quickly note on what the chat is saying, Gilbert Gottfried being of Nosferatu, why could I, like, if you're on TikTok, you know, like, the sound that's going around of, here comes the boy! Why can I imagine that in Gilbert Gottfried's voice as a Nosferatu charging into battle? Or is that just me? But now I just need to try and imagine Patrick Page's voice while reading Qadir's lines. I will try my best to embody that spirit. Because this is a serious game. For serious moments. One sec. He was right. It is a familiar place. It's the office in which you wasted the best years of your life. Newman should be up there. Apparently someone is blackmailing him with documents proving his penchant for embezzlement. The poor guy is stuck in his office and he's probably pretty shaken up. The documents don't exist, but it would be a shame if someone went there, wiped the floor with the man, found proof that he pilfered the funds and forced him to admit his crimes. He turns off the engine and relaxes comfortably in his seat. You silently leave the car and head straight for Newman's office. The elevator ride up just doesn't seem to end. After what feels like 5 hours, but in reality is closer to 30 seconds, you finally reach the door. Your ex-boss is sitting in his office, just like Qadir said. He looks, how can you put it, as if he just googled body language of alpha males and attempted to poorly copy the most cartoonish posture in order to intimidate the blackmailer. Out of habit, you take a deep breath as you step inside his office. Stephanie? Oh god, he looks like a sleazebag. He immediately relaxes. It's just Stephanie, his eyes say as a sly grin appears beneath them. Sorry, I'll see if I can do an accent or something for Newman just to make him a bit slimier. Forget to ask for a vacation. People were worried, you know. Not to mention overwork to hell and back, then overwork some more. Someone had to take over your responsibilities. And guess what? Just as we started digging into your work, some unexpected financial irregularities started popping up. We'll need to work on a common story to explain those, you see. You keep quiet and just stare him down. The poor idiot still thinks he's the predator in the room. Let's see how long it takes for him to realize his mistake. Yeah, he does have a neck. A neck that just needs a good old... But we'll see how this goes. Hopefully we won't have to resort to too much violence. Oh god, he looks like a gourd that got too moist. He looks like a pumpkin, like 4 days after Halloween's over and it's just kind of slowly started rotting in on itself. Newman senses that you're different somehow. He attempts to stare back but fails to withstand your glare. He starts to wonder what's going on and quickly arrives at a conclusion. Wait a second. So you're the one who sent me that message. Now that's a laugh. He starts approaching you. Sweetheart, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. You think you could convince anyone that you never knew what was going on around here? Fat chance. And even if you did, you know my friends, they never let you live it down. He's right in front of you, licking his lips, pondering the best way to display his complete physical superiority. You won't give him the chance. No, we're not going to do any physical altercations. We're going to go psychological. And Qadir said he didn't want to have to clean up a mess. Before Newman blinks, you're standing in front of him with your arms crossed. After he blinks, your hand is already on his throat. He freezes up. He watches you get in his face and slowly brandish your long, long fangs. Oh! No, I didn't mean for us to do that. I just meant to, like, boost our presence. Fuck, I didn't mean for a masquerade implication. Maybe we can help him forget it? Oh no! Oh no, I didn't want this. He watches you get in his face and slowly brandish your long, long fangs. A loud, throaty, inhuman growl rings out throughout the office and begins to morph into a violent hiss. For a moment, your ex-boss can't identify the source of the overwhelming sound, or rather his brain refuses to accept that your relatively small body is capable of generating a noise like this. And he begins to understand and process the unnatural sight of your fangs. He is gradually overpowered by an animalistic fear that shatters his entire worldview. Fuck. You were supposed to be a victim. Why are you a threat? Why did reality break? You slowly tighten your grip on his neck, not hard enough to trigger a fight response, but enough to strike deeper fear into his heart. Kneel. Newman complies with your demand, squealing softly, a single tear making its way down the stubble on his cheek. Fuck. Obey. I'll do whatever you want. Just don't kill me, please. You gather your strength and throw him, slamming him against his desk. Fuck. A born boardroom predator has met his better in the place he least expected it. You slowly start walking towards him. Stop. I'll get it. I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. With shaking hands, he scrambles towards a safe on the shelf. He opens it and takes out some documents inside. This is what you want, right? This is what you want. You rip the papers from his hands and browse them. These should be enough, as Qadir would put it, prove his penchant for embezzlement. I'll clear your fucking name. Tell them somebody else. You twist your heel into his hand. He screams. I did it. I'll tell them how I did it. I think just like we have to nail the point home. If you don't, I'll visit again. You walk into the elevator, press the ground floor button, and wave at Newman as the doors start closing. He mumbles something under his breath and winces in pain. Back in Qadir's car, once you close the door, he instantly puts his foot on the gas pedal. Give me a sec. Walking off the pitch with no regrets. Said everything you had to say? I wiped the floor with him and got the documents that should keep him in check. That asshole will be looking over his shoulder constantly for the rest of his life. Qadir smiles deviously. Looks like you can take care of business, as expected. I don't need to tell you to hang on to those documents, but keep in mind that you can use them for more than a security guarantee. We're always looking for more contacts among the big fish. Once you settle in, we can use what you know of Newman to convince the elders that he's better off as your ghoul. Ooh, oh, that's a power move and a half, making your former boss your ghoul. The lapdog, hell yeah. Now that's an enticing thought. You're surprised at his suggestion. Comsteindruff, thank you so much for the 38-month resub. Like, more than 3 years now of amazing, amazing support. Thank you so much for your incredible generosity, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. You're amazing. Thank you. Oh, and a good stretch check from Clansinator. Thank you. Daddy approves. Hell yes. Qadir knows what's up. Hell yeah, he does. Qadir knows what's going on. I have a feeling he maybe knows that we did that little flex of our supernatural abilities, but it's not like we suddenly showed anything that could be caught on camera or anything like supernatural. Oh, and thank you for the hydrate check. Like, Samuel, when it comes to ghouling mortals in Vampire the Masquerade, sometimes it's not necessarily about having people who are like your servants who are like on you or like with you all the time. Sometimes you ghoul them as a power move so that they become addicted to your blood and they can only answer to you. So it's more of a, sometimes used as more of a strategic thing to have powerful mortals under your sway. The car speeds up to cross an intersection before the light turns red. You give Qadir a good, hard look. Let's show a little bit of appreciation. Thanks. It doesn't feel like a, how do you call it, very vampire thing to say, but you say it nevertheless. He's visibly taken aback, and his usually furrowed brow smooths out for a moment. Then he takes on a serious, slightly sorrowful expression. Don't suck up to me, kid. Mr. Bad Guy is still here, and without a doubt, he'll go back to decapitating suckers like you any time now. Guys! For a brief... Did Qadir's heart, like, grow, like, half a size? I'm gonna believe that maybe, like, we hit something. We just showed a little bit of appreciation for his hard work. Maybe we're special now. The car starts slowing down. We're here. You look out the window and see your haven. Take care. I'll see you around. Just pray I don't have to see you too often. You leave the car and start walking to your haven, thinking about Qadir. Can't say you're fond of him, what with the welcome he gave you and all, but after tonight, you can't say you aren't, either. You're gonna need some more time to understand him, that's for sure. Okay. Before we continue any of the stories with our Coterie members... Actually, we did the thing with our stalker, and we had our conversation with Qadir. Let us maybe see if Hope has something interesting. Daddy Senpai noticed us. He did. He did. All we needed to really affirm that is just like a half an affectionate like pat on the shoulder of just like, you did good, kid. And that is just like vampire validation level 9000. Just, we did good. But I think we're starting to warm up his long dead heart. So I think we're doing good so far. Okay. The other side of Hope. Hope's about to head out into the city, accompany and see her true face. Now, as with the last encounter that we had with Hope, it did dip into some, let's say, dark and provocative themes. Nothing that was too explicit that I would have to censor from my channel. But just a heads up for content warning for possible themes of sex work and some other darker topics, levels of horror, blood, and that kind of thing. So please just practice self-care as we step forward into Hope's story, okay? When you get to the internet cafe, Hope is already waiting out front. The sight catches you off guard. A part of you suspected that she might be more of a shut-in. My haven is my castle type. At Schumacher 2002. Perfect timing. We need to go for a ride. Get in, get in, get in. She doesn't wait for your response and jumps behind the wheel of a lavender vintage roadster instead. The engine starts roaring expectantly, causes everyone's heads to turn. She drives a lavender car. I love that. I love that so much. Not wanting to attract needless attention, you quickly slip into the back seat of the car. The moment you shut the door behind you, the vehicle sets off, tires screeching. 0 to 100 real quick. Sorry for not bringing you up to speed first, but hey, this is New York City. Everyone's always in a rush, and this is even more true when you're a kindred. Also, I love her car. Just looking at the details of this, from like the little kitty face fluffiness to the scented things in the aircon to all of the custom stuff. This is so cool. Now, allow me to take care of some business and I'll be right with you. Even as she's zooming through traffic, she's still on her phone, of course. Let's compliment the... Oh no, wait, that's kind of mean, like, nice car. Straight to the point. Business. How do you make a living in the city? It's a long story. Do you really want to hear it? Before you manage to answer, she starts talking. So, another extremely online Malk based in New York goes by the name of Dev Null told me to Google Ethereum a few years ago. That's how I got into Bitcoin. And I found a new religion. 23-year-olds selling visions of governments replaced by benign code and decentralized consensus. Masses ruled by algorithms as just as the law of physics. Idiot man-child investors trying to shape their realities through sheer fanatical zeal, and dedicated collectors of things as abstract as rare SHA-256 decryptions. Her driving style is far more aggressive and dangerous than you're comfortable with. Is it just you, or does she peek into the rearview mirror more often than she looks straight ahead? A hyper-speculative environment where nothing has real value, only abstract beliefs matter, and your life savings can be ruined by a single bullshit tweet. How can I refuse the allure? I started buying low and selling high in a variety of shady 24/7 exchanges that allowed me with 100% leverage, as in, they'd lend me 100% the capital I could bet with. I got lucky at the beginning and kept the ball rolling, shorting and longing impulsively, recklessly. I got to the point where I became too big to fail, and that's when I cashed out. The car comes to an abrupt halt. You bump up against the seat in front of you. Okay, this story will be continued later. We're here, right at our first stop. I'll need you to do me a favor. A horse in a hospital, thank you so much for the follow. First of all, I love your username. Second of all, welcome to the Blue Rose Respite. You are now one of my lovely lost tales, and you are welcome back at the Blue Rose Respite anytime. Take a seat and enjoy yourself. Sorry, I can't get over your username. I love it. Oh, this is great. You guys are great. We did say we would work with her. So, first stop. Yeah, I need to run a few errands tonight. This one is as simple as it gets. See, that weird guy in the Yankees cap standing around the corner? Approach him. Tell him you're... take the phone tell him you're at young, hot, petite ingenue. Take the phone he gives you and bring it here. Get going, honey. It's illegal to park here. You jump out of the car and approach the man Hope has pointed out. Not a lot you can tell about him based on his appearance, aside from the fact that he seems pretty shady. The guy assumes a comically threatening pose as you approach him. The hell you want? I'm at young, hot, petite ingenue? Oh. Gotta admit, I had no idea what ingenue meant, so I had to make sure. I was about to Google it, you know. He takes the phone out of his pocket and covertly passes it to you. Everything is prepared and preloaded according to your instructions. Should take about 2 minutes to transfer the data. Now get out of here. The man walks away with an exaggerated hip-hop gait. You jump back into Hope's car. She immediately steps on the gas. You got the phone? You're the best. Pass it to me, please. Hope said please! Tonight's going great, Hope said please. She connects the 2 smartphones using a cable and begins some sort of data transfer. Looks like it's an identical model. After a minute or so, the process is complete. Alright. Goodbye, lovely. You served me well. Hope opens the car window, grabs her old phone. You're not expert enough to recognize the exact model, but it definitely looks like it had a $800 price slapped on it, and tosses it out the window. Surprised, you look behind you to see a car on the opposite lane run over the abandoned device. Hope notices your quizzical look. I've been needing a lot of burner phones lately, and I'm not going to use some cheap piece of shit. So it's a pretty expensive necessity. Intersection red light. She takes advantage of the moment to shoot a driving selfie that strategically excludes her face and upload it to Instagram. You notice her handle there is... Is that a weird spelling of Versace? Versace Beauty. Versace Beauty. Now, I was telling you a story. Yes. Last I left off, she was cashing out. Cashing out? Right. At some point towards the end of 2017, I became convinced I needed to cash out. There was no way the bubble was going to last forever. I always knew there would be no grapes of wrath in the cryptocurrency era. It would have to be a series of profoundly antisocial, disconnected events. The whole crypto culture was decentralized church of lone millennials who reject all established modern values and kept atoning for the original sin of not buying Bitcoin back in 2013. Another abrupt last-second turn. Excuse me. You're pressed against the window. What the hell is it with her driving style? Bet a life you never wanted to live anyway and get a chance to win a priceless pile of nothing. Untether yourself from all worldly desires. Find joy in suicidal ideation. To this day, money holds no real value for me. It's an abstract as a video game score, a bunch of numbers on a screen. This joyless world changed me forever. I knew I had to escape. Honestly, it wouldn't hurt to maybe like search up on Instagram to see if her for her Instagram profile is real. It wouldn't surprise me because what's it called? Sorry, I had the word escape me. Ignore me, I'll continue. So I took my piles of fictional dollars to a new arena, elite New York City social circles. Not because I wanted to scam them and make more, but because I wanted to finally have some goddamn fun. I mean, of course I had to scam them in the process, but it was only in service of becoming something more than a star. A constellation. Another abrupt stop, this time next to the entrance of a shifty-looking back alley. Alright, friend, this time your leaky gut syndrome, whistleblower extraordinaire. Whenever you press sneak fuck wants to take a leak, you've got it. Got it? Sorry for putting you out there in my place, but I only personally contact people as a last resort. Gets harder to protect my identity each time I show my face. And since I've got you, our man is waiting for you in this back alley. He's paying back a favor with a flash drive containing crucial information we need to stay safe in the city. Retrieve it. I'll circle the area, make sure we aren't in danger right now. When we're done, get back here and I'll pick you up. Everything clear? Good. Oh, Tender was the app that was kind of a secret project that kind of went into a bit of a meta game that happened in the real world that was a hell of a lot of fun. You exit the car and see it drive away in a hurry, then head down the narrow passageway. Sure enough, there's a man waiting for you at the end of this back street, unshaven, wearing wrinkled clothes, with a nervous eye tick. He looks even dodgier than the last guy you met. When you approach, he gives you a mean look. You lost or something? I'm leaky gut syndrome. You said you got a little something that might interest me. Of course. Straight to the point, aren't you? Alright then. Clumsily, he produces a USB stick from his front shirt pocket and holds it before your face. When you reach out to take it, he pulls his hand back and gives you a sly grin. Getting all this data was risky, you know. Ms. Montgomery is an unusually secretive person. Digging up dirt on her took more effort than I expected. Effort that should be rewarded, I think. The more you ask around about her, the more you expect a letter saying, give up your inquiries which are completely useless at your doorstep. Perhaps attached to a severed cat head. You catch my drift? The secrecy surrounding her screams, friends in high places, brave new world order, Illuminati shit, you know? Makes me think I deserve some hazard pay. I think we've got enough machismo that we can bluff our way out of this. I ran a background check on you. You're not just some random schmuck off the street. No way you didn't know what you were walking into when you took this job. And if you really didn't, I doubt you're the kind of journalist who can gather intel worth shit. You're bluffing the hell out of him, unsure if it's going to work. It does. The man spits on the ground angrily and raises his hands in surrender. Alright. I shouldn't have put you on the spot like that. My bad, okay? He extends the hand holding the flash drive towards you again. You take it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Not really sure what it's about, but one of my informants claims you might be interested in this. He reaches into his inner jacket pocket and presents you with something wholly unexpected. It's a bag of blood, labeled simply as ABRH. You take a closer look, but that doesn't answer any of the questions that just appeared in your mind. You peek into the journalist's cold blue eyes and see them twitch uncontrollably. Don't ask me. They said you'll know what to do with it. Leaky gut. Come on, take it. Yeah, this seems shifty. This feels like bait. He's already been shifty once. I'm going to refuse it. Like, this is way too shady. Keep it. I have no idea who the informant is, but they've been feeding you bullshit, buddy. Also, this guy is clearly a blabbermouth, so the moment, like, this is my player brain going, if you take that blood, it's like confirming for him, like, oh, my suspicions are true. But if you just keep looking at him like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Then, yes, diverting suspicion. Aha. Yeah, I don't think so. Another eye twitch in an awkward silence. You give the blood bag one last glance and leave the alley the way you came. Hope's car appears behind you, behind the corner, just as you walk out onto the street. It doesn't even fully stop when you approach, but slows down just enough so you can jump in. The moment you close the door, she leans into the gas pedal with her full strength, causing the engine to roar. Her driving style definitely doesn't reflect how laid back she seems as a person. We've got it. You throw the flash drive into the seat next to her. Perfect. Any problems? How did the meeting go? You relate the entire back alley encounter to her. Towards the end of the story, you notice she's not staring at the road or her phone, but directly at your face. The realization startles you. You've got that bag of blood with you? Left it with him. Felt fishy somehow. Huh. Anything particular about it? Nothing, just a label saying ABHR. She steps on the brakes. Fuck. I'm okay. Do we crash the car? She grabs the flash drive you've obtained and throws it out the window. Looks like that's her favorite method of taking care of problems. That bag was a message. AB negative used to be my blood type. It's the rarest one, found in less than 1% of the United States population. Glad you didn't drink it. Who knows what they'd done to the bag? Some NYC vets can tell you wild stories about using irradiated blood to locate and kill other kindred. Oh, that's messed up. Yeah, that was way too shady for it to go well, but wow. Using irradiated, like, radioactive blood and sneaking that to kindred to kill them. Oh, that's like lacing it with rat poison. Oh, that is evil. Brilliant, but evil. So fucking evil. Seriously? Glad I didn't drink from him. Better safe than sorry, yeah. Still, I wonder if they would have done anything to his blood. That would be some kind of 5-dimensional chess move. But yeah, this contact is compromised and needs to be cut off. Goodbye, my journalist frenemy, and goodbye, dear leaky gut syndrome. You've both outlived your usefulness. After a brief period of hesitation, she deletes the whistleblower extraordinaire account and sighs. Another one bites the dust. I've got another story to finish. I was talking about Bitcoin and then... Where did I stop? Constellation. Becoming a constellation? Oh, right. You know who saw the real face of the city? Anna Delvey. Ever heard of her? A Russian working-class girl, born as Anna Sorokin. She moved to New York in 2013 and convinced everyone that she was this insanely rich trust fund kid, a wealthy German heiress. Manhattan elites totally fell for it, and they bought it for years while she swindled them. She only got arrested in 2017 after having stolen almost $30,000. Hey Noah, how's it going? Welcome back. Sarkin created her Delvey persona out of thin air, convinced everyone that she was going to set up an art fund, and kept tasting all of life's finest pleasures while being basically broke. She even made up a fake family financial advisor, then killed him off when he became a liability. And apparently some of her rich victims never admitted to being scammed out of shame. By now you're sure, the way she scrutinizes her surroundings, her reckless driving, she's trying to escape somebody. Now Delvey's locked up with murderers and Rikers, writing her memoirs, apparently picking a lot of fights. Bless her heart, she'll forever be an inspiration. But I have more advantages than she ever did. I have my own considerable funds and I can rely on many more made-up people than just some old-ass financial advisor. A whole bunch of fake content creators and influencers that every rich dumbass wants to get in touch with and collaborate makes it super easy to earn more money than I invest. You've seen it firsthand, both as a deceiver and the deceived. It's a city of illusions. Make non-existent money, come up with a fictional status, play nonsensical Camarilla games. And one day, you might just find yourself at the top. Alright, we're reaching our last stop. You look around. You're coming up on a parking garage. You're going to take an elevator to the 70th floor. Give the masked man you meet in front of the door this memory card. It contains an, art house movie I've made. I'm not going to inquire further what an art house movie is in the vampire world, because that can mean a great many things, and I care about keeping my channel. Wait, you made it? What, are you dense? You've seen me rehearse it in my haven. You didn't think I was doing that just for show, did you? I found some filthy rich Manhattan pervs who pay a fortune for a convincing vampire cam show. I don't need money, but their IT industry connections. Give me an idea. When we give them this memory card, we'll gain access to tech that should allow us to take on my biggest enemy in this city. So your nickname this time is going to be... a crash. You are momentarily dazed and can't immediately understand what's happening. The first thing you know for sure is, if you were still a normal human being, you'd be dead. You've replayed the last few seconds in your head. The other car appeared out of nowhere and crashed into Hope's vehicle at the maximum speed it was able to achieve in this closed-off space. The driver has already managed to kick open the mangled door next to him and stumble out of his seat. Now he wordlessly approaches the trunk and takes a large caliber silenced pistol out of it. Oh shit. Oh no. He starts approaching the lavender wreck of Hope's car, obviously ready to finish the job that he started. You have to be fast and violent. It's you or him now. I'm taking a bullet for Hope. I'm taking a bullet for Hope. Your instincts take over. You don't come up with a strategy or an optimal route. You simply start running towards the gunman, yelling. For a split second, he's completely dumbfounded. Then, he opens fire. The bullets hit you, but that doesn't stop you. You start running. The man pulls the trigger a few more times to no avail. The expression on his face is priceless, until you ram your fist straight through it. He falls to the ground. You get down on your knees and keep pounding at him until he's been reduced to a bloody pulp. Well, that's one way to resolve a Masquerade breach. You stand above the gunman's body, trying to calm yourself and your killer instincts. That's when you hear a voice. Ugh. Hope slithers out of her car and sees you standing above your assailant. Huh. You did pretty good. She approaches the body of the driver you killed and kicks it so she can take a better look at it. Upon seeing the front of the corpse, she lets out an annoyed grunt. Knew it would be this asshole. He's been following us all day, and I know just who he belongs to. Even before she's done talking, she's already trying to reach someone through a video call. Eventually, she succeeds. You see a nonchalant woman in business casual on her smartphone screen. Hello. I love the hair. Kara Montgomery, how may I help you? Kara? Hope. Didn't expect you to ever reach me through this channel. Have you thought things through? Wait, did something happen? Did something happen? Your fucking ghoul just tried to kill me, you crazy bitch. That's what fucking happened. Calm yourself for Christ's sake. This is a baseless accusation. I know he's from Double Spiral. He's been working at your fucking company. Come on. You know I can't be held responsible for the independent actions of my subordinates. Why don't we just meet up and talk it over? Hope disconnects the call and instantly blocks Kara from contacting her. You corporate shithead, you make me sick. Tired, she turns her gaze to the dead ghoul. I'll dispose of him. Help me put him in my car. And yes, Hope said we did good, everyone. Yeah. 30 seconds later, his body is laying on the back seat of the lavender-coloured wreck. Okay, good. You take a look at the scene of carnage in front of you. Every second we're here gets us closer to a serious Masquerade violation. I'll have to exchange my palm d'or worthy masterpiece for the goods of some other time. She gets behind the wheel and you follow her inside the car. Meet me in my haven when I tell you it's safe. For now, I need to dump this asshole somewhere. Get my car fixed and plan our counterattack. You guide Hope to your own haven. She drops you off and before she leaves she makes what's about to come perfectly clear. If we want to survive in the city, Kara Montgomery needs to die. She disappears into traffic, and you disappear into your place. Oh shit, that was intense. That was so cool. From what I imagine, from the way that scene was worded, is I imagine we were driving forward and the car rammed us to the side. So it probably buckled the doors and made us spin, but it wasn't enough for like a full front-on-front collision, which is why the car was still working. But that's just how I imagined it in my head. Alright, it's getting rather late, so let us rest. Well, we will have to feed soon, though. Okay, we've put you off for a while, so let's see what's up about you. Oh, we're gonna help Sophie out with this. A Nosy Reporter, Part 1. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's haven. She could use your help with the problem. Yeah, we haven't seen Sophie yet. Let's go see how Mum's doing. Hi, Mummy. The streetlights filter into the apartment in a stark white glow, as if someone were shooting a movie outside. Art pieces display a tasteful expense entirely fitting the image you have of Sophie. It feels as if 1,000 sins have been committed on these premises, most of them under her benevolent hospitality. Sophie comes to greet you as you enter the living room, shaking her head. You understand that people judge me based on how you dress, don't you? Sophie looks at your clothes and as if resigned to your sartorial limitations. Yeah, we were trying to be inconspicuous, Sophie. We've kind of had a lot of shit to do. I've tried to dress inconspicuously because of the masquerade. It's very sensible of you. I suppose I should commend you for that. Sophie walks to the window and looks out, the streetlights playing on her features. She reminds you of a queen contemplating the unfortunate limitations of her subjects. You'd think that as a vampire, at least you wouldn't have to worry about the vultures of the press. Unfortunately, when you have power and ability, there are always parasites trying to feed on you. Is there a reporter after you? Yes, a terribly persistent creature. Sophie steps away from the window and settles down on a sofa, a wine glass with red liquid in it. Blood, treated as not to spoil. You've become good at noticing the scent, even from a distance. She doesn't offer you any as you cautiously sit down across from her. Okay, I will say I'm glad that they put the note of it being like specially treated so it doesn't spoil and I assume doesn't coagulate. Because one time around Halloween, for Halloween I cooked something that was, you might have seen it on social media, it was a heart that I cooked in for my food. But when I was preparing it, because there's certain things you have to do to properly prepare it, including like rinsing it out, but I cannot emphasize the smell that filled my apartment as I was cooking it, like preparing it and cooking it. My entire apartment smelled of animal blood. And like that irony smell that you can kind of taste at the same time. So now I know what that smells like, I can only imagine what vampire apartments smell like, and I can't get it out of my head. Oh yes, it was a real heart, a deer heart, and it was delicious. It was venison, so it was deer. So good. And yes, now that I know what that smells like, I can keep in my nose acute for any possible vampires in the area. You become good at noticing the scent, even from a distance. She doesn't offer you any as you cautiously sit down across from her. Oh, I paired it with what should I pair it with? I think I made like smashed new potatoes and roasted sprouts. I just pan-fried it. I kept it very simple because I just wanted to taste the meat as it were. I didn't want to add too much to it, but it was really nice. Just pan-fried with some butter, salt and pepper. Really good. This awful man has been stalking my apartment with a camera. He's gone through my trash, talked to the neighbors. Please be a dear and explain to him that there's nothing for him here. We're not going to get sassy with Mummy. Is this about the Masquerade? That's a big deal for us, right? Indeed, you're learning. Yeah, this must happen often. How do you usually deal with it? Everyone has their own way. Sometimes the problem goes away with a bit of money or sharp words. Other times you need something more. Do you know anything about this reporter? Man, woman, young, old, anything like that? All gossip reporters look the same to me. Time for you to go. I have business to attend to. You leave the apartment as Sophie disappears into another room. You don't have a clear idea of the games she plays with the city's mortals and immortal power structures, but she always seems to be making a move. Outside the streets, there's a slight warm drizzle, the kind that gets under your clothes and makes you want to take a shower when you get back to your own haven. No reporters immediately jump out to you. I'll investigate the area, because they're probably hiding. You start with the basics of investigative work. You ask the proprietor of the bodega across the corner, the homeless man sleeping in a nearby doorway, and the doorman of another building whether they've seen anyone strange. Detective work produces results. You get a description of a man who sounds like a reporter. Older, overweight, pasty, and in bad physical condition. Professional camera. Oh yeah, this is absolutely a test from Sophie. Once you know what you're looking for, it's not difficult. You spot a man who matches the description and follow him. You enter an alley, a dark, dingy space between two tall buildings. Once upon a time, a place like this might have worried you, make you think of muggings and violence. Now it's clear that the most dangerous thing here is you. Oh, Metalloid Man, I'd be interested in that recipe. The man you are following seems to realize this too. He holds his camera in front of him like a shield, its heavy objective resting on his paunch. With a start, you recognize him. You remember the face, the shaded sunglasses from a picture next to a byline and some trashy paper outside someone thrust in your face at a company party. His name is Frank Doherty, and he's taken pictures of one of your investors feeling up a sex worker at a nightclub. You'd been there too, and the funny thing was, what Doherty showed in the photo was just the tip of the iceberg. After all, work hard and play hard was the order of the day. What does the heart taste like? Well, with venison, the meat is very, very rich. So, it's very rich, and when it comes to cooking offal, because I've eaten other organs like liver and kidneys and so forth. It is a little on the chewier side, especially a heart because it's such a dense muscle. So it's a little on the chewy side and it's a little tough at first, but it's nice if you cook it well. I think because it was my first time, I maybe didn't cook it correctly or to the best way it could be, but it was still pretty good. Kind of like a much denser flavor of beef, and much richer as well. Hey, don't go around scaring people like that. Welcome to Knuckletown. No. You're Frank Doherty. I recognize you from that thing. You're a fake reporter, right? I'm a real reporter, damn it. Let's give a bit of sass. A lot of scoops here in this dirty alley? You can't be a journalist if you're not willing to get your hands dirty. Do you live here? I'm working on a story about a local resident. Her name is Sophie Langley. Everyone knows her in high society circles. She's a redhead, pretty as a picture, and there are a lot of pictures of her throughout the years. That's the thing, in fact. Look at this. Frank pulls out his phone and starts showing you pictures. Some have been downloaded from news sites, while others are photos of society pages of newspapers from past decades. All show Sophie. She has different clothes, hairstyles, makeup, names, but the face remains the same. Let's try and divert it a bit. Just like, okay, yeah, she's hot, but what do you mean? They're all hot. Other than that, I'm not sure. Come on, look at the face. It's always the same. Let's maybe try and downplay that. Why is this so important? So why does this matter? Maybe it doesn't, but people are always interested in staying young. 3 words. Extreme plastic surgery. All the celebrities do it. Only her doctor is better than the rest. You look critically at the photos on Frank's phone. You're thinking the world's best plastic surgeon is working out of this alley? Okay, fine, I don't know what this is about. How would you explain it? We're not going to name drop that we know her, but... Have you considered the possibility that those pictures are a hoax? Sure, anything can be a hoax, but I dug up all those old papers from the archives myself. I gotta have something usable. Okay, this is probably going to be a good point for us to flex our vampire powers, because if we threaten him, then it's implying there's might be something here. If we intimidate him, again implying, you know, essentially if we want him to, like, forget everything or, like, downplay it, it's just like, this isn't a real thing. But the moment that you're just like, here's the money to make this go away, it's just like, oh, there is something you're trying to hide. So both of those first 2 options seem like that's what's going to come up if we pick them. So I'm going to go with dominate. You look Frank in the eyes. There are reds behind his shaded glasses. Veins popped out from years of neglecting his body. Suddenly he seems soft, easy to manipulate. His will nothing but plaster crumbling under your boot. Go home and destroy your research on Sophie Langley. As your vampiric gaze takes over Frank's mind, he feels less than a person and more like an automaton, a machine you can program. Perhaps this is why older vampires are said to think of humans as nothing but animals. How can you consider someone a thinking person with free will when you can override them at any moment? Frank is mumbling, fondling his camera, inching around you to the entrance of the alley. He looks sad and worn as he goes, a man who used to be something, now just a shell. It feels almost embarrassing to use the powers of your blood on someone so weak. At least you're pretty sure he'll stay away. We did good, Mama. But I want to catch up with our wonderful Tremere friend and see what the next step of that story is. Scully, you're not going to believe this. He's just like got or he's already uploaded it to his Dropbox or something like that, and we're going to get screwed over. God damn it. Because, yeah, that could have been bad. That could have been really bad, but I'm curious to see where this goes. Juno and Agathon. Juno, the notes. You find the mystery of Agathon's research tantalizing enough to pay him a visit. You know what to expect when you return to the small bookstore serving as Agathon's haven. The cacophony of occult imagery assaults you from the book covers displayed on the window, but under the fake facade there's something real. This time, the Buddhas and the satanic Bibles of the storefront seem almost funny, or perhaps you've just started to tune into the dry humour of these Tremere. Just as you're about to ring the doorbell, the door opens and Agathon storms out. You step aside just in time to avoid having him stumble into you. Stephanie, what are you doing here? Look, I came to help you, like last time. Okay, fine, you're right. Follow me. As he turns to go, Agathon almost looks pleased that you're here. Agathon walks to his car with you in tow. It didn't occur to you last time but it's a surprisingly pedestrian vehicle, an aging mid-sized family sedan. You imagine what it looked like with a baby seat in the back. Oh, it's all good, Noah. You take care, okay? And have an awesome week. Opening the door on the driver's side, Agathon notices your look. Laugh all you want, but it's inconspicuous and practical. You sit in the car and Agathon starts driving in his usual careful style. At least you'll never be stopped by traffic cops. At least you'll never be stopped by traffic cops. It seems Agathon is not interested in small talk. Don't make small talk. He's got shit to do. I love a good mystery as much as the next vampire, but at some point you're going to have to tell me what we're doing. Let me ask you a question in return. Have you ever tasted animal blood? From sheep, for example? We're kindred. Come on. New York is not the best place to hunt for wildlife, you know. You'd be surprised. There are plenty of pigeons, rats, dogs, cats. But your instinct is correct. Animal blood tastes vile. If it didn't, our own lives would be very different. Anyway, something to think about. You exit Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge and soon reach the site of the nightclub that seems to be your destination. It's on the riverfront, a converted former warehouse. After Agathon parks the car, it's time you enter the nightclub. You glance at the Tremere, evaluating him. It's obvious this is not his kind of place. You may have worked in finance, but your colleagues got into some crazy shit if they didn't love cocaine. You're not a party girl, but you don't stand out in a nightclub. Agathon does. There's a good chance the research notes are here. So we're looking for research notes? Yes, and that's all you need to know. Okay, it's your business. I'll just look for the most researchy notes I can find. There's a line into the nightclub. It looks like a popular spot, even if, based on the crowd, it's not exactly a place for supermodels and celebrities. Let's not draw attention to ourselves. Also, I don't want to use my powers too much because we haven't fed in a while. You join the line with Agathon. He looks uncomfortable, as if he hoped that you could somehow get in faster. It's better if we play it cool. No risk of blowing our cover, just two club glowers waiting in line. Fine, you're right. Let's not make a spectacle of ourselves. See? I call it conserving my power and keeping the masquerade. You stand in line for 15 minutes. Oh, we're only waiting 15 minutes, it's fine. And eventually get past the bouncer to step inside. The music beats down on you, bringing with it memories of a human existence. The first time since you went dancing with friends, when you flirted with someone on the dance floor. This time it's different. You're a predator, and everyone around you is prey. Tightly packed, twitching sacks of blood and tissue. Side note, I'm not sure if you guys are watching the stream with headphones, but playing this game with headphones is an amazing experience. So if you're playing this game yourself, highly recommend playing it with headphones, because you can hear the sounds going in and out of either ear. You sense the emotions all around you. Blood tinted with happiness, lust, rage, jealousy, love. A buffet of sensations. Focus. Keep an eye out for trouble while I look at what we came for. You nod and follow Agathon through the throng, trying to ignore all the warmth, flesh, and circulating blood around you. We're gonna focus. We'll feed later. Eyes on the prize. You came here to help Agathon, and that's what you'll do. Agathon wades through the dancing people with purpose, but you have no idea how he is searching for all the missing research notes. Perhaps he's using the enhanced senses of a vampire, or some esoteric sorcery. At least he seems to know what he's doing. Juno. Excuse me. You swerve to avoid a drunken man who is just about to spill beer onto you, and try to see what Agathon is looking at. A young woman, intense, purposeful, a little out of place at the nightclub, just like you and Agathon. I didn't mean to select that. This looks like trouble. Perhaps we should leave? She won't dare attack in the midst of all these people. Let's hear her out. The woman, Juno, elbows the drunken man out of her way and points a finger at Agathon's face. Hi. Agathon, you traitor. Don't you dare stand between me and what's mine. You look at the woman in surprise. Her appearance stands in contrast with the anger in her words. Juno, you know Aisling will not let you leave with the notes. Perhaps she won't let you leave at all. Juno pulls close to Agathon's face and stage whispers loudly enough for you to hear her over the music. You're still so brainwashed that you think about what Aisling fucking Sturbridge wants. I'm done jumping through her hoops. I don't know what I saw in you, Agathon. You're such a lapdog. There's just something about her outfit and her haircut that makes me think of her as an acting teacher. I don't know what it is, but I could just see her being like in like a circle of chairs and like with a clipboard in hand, just being like, and new thought. Tell me what you're experiencing at the moment. I don't know. She's probably another Tremere here to get the notes, or maybe she's trying to leave the Tremere like circles, but there's just something about her to me screams acting teacher. Maybe it's a scarf. What do you mean brainwashed? Are you brainwashed, Agathon? Agathon looks around the dimly light crowd, clearly too exasperated for words. That's what they do in the pyramid. Recruit us into loyal little soldiers for the Council of Seven, but no more. That's not the same thing as brainwashing. I work with Aisling out of my free will. Are you seriously telling me that Aisling asked your permission before she turned you into a fucking vampire? Agathon winces visibly at the word vampire. Fortunately, the loud beat of the music drowns out Juno's voice. That would make her unique among our kind. They sure as fuck didn't ask me. Actually, many vampires embrace only after asking for permission. This is so like you, Agathon. You just can't let anything go without making one of your little corrections. Juno, please. Juno steps back, suddenly cold. Ignoring the people's dancing all around, she stares hard at Agathon. Hey, Scarlet, how's it going? Glad you could join us. The past is past. The traditions are dead to me. Oh no. Well, she's gonna maybe make a Masquerade breach. That's bad. That's bad. You won't stop me, Agathon. I'll make sure of that here and now. You know I have the power. No, Juno, please. Agathon sounds panicked. He's not worried about his own survival, but of the possibility that Juno is about to unleash a genuine Masquerade breach. We're gonna calm her down. Calling on the powers of your blood, you step closer to Juno, between her and Agathon. Agathon was being an asshole. Don't hurt yourself just to get back at him. He's not worth it. Juno looks you in the eye and you can tell that she's tired and scared. Defecting from the Tremere is not easy or safe. You're right. I'm always right. She turns to go, then stops and glances back at you. You should pick better friends. With that, Juno walks through the oblivious dancers towards the exit. Looking around, you realize that Agathon didn't stay to witness your exchange with Juno. Instead, he worked his way through the dancing crowd, looking for the notes using his arcane methods. After Juno is gone, he returns, shaking his head. The notes were here, but not anymore. It's possible someone grabbed them when they hunted here. After making sure Juno was nowhere to be seen, you and Agathon push your way back outside. Outside, you walk to Agathon's car and drive back to the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan, heading to Agathon's haven. Juno mentioned some very personal things. I trust your discretion in not discussing those things with Aisling. Yeah, of course. It's your business. Your love life is your business. Thank you. After a while, you reach Agathon's haven and he parks the car. You walk to the occult bookstore and Agathon invites you inside. I love his place so much, it's so cool. The smell of incense assaults you as before, making you grateful you don't have to breathe. You follow Agathon upstairs to find Aisling. Aisling Sturbridge in an armchair reading an old book. She puts a bookmark in place as you come in. You're a successful, I hope? No, I'm sorry. The notes were there at some point, but not anymore. That's a shame. I hope you don't run out of time. How did Sophie's little protege go? Agathon turns to look at you. These fledglings come and go. Let's see after a few years. See, Scarlet, I'm always right, according to Sam. I'm always right. I can do no wrong. And yeah, it looks like that lizard has been treated with leather, or like properly treated, so hopefully it's not smelling too bad. Very true. I'll have to ask Sophie why she took this one in. She must have a reason. We met Juno. Fortunately, she couldn't find the notes either. That's interesting. The High Regent turns to look at you. What was your impression of Juno, Fletching? Driven seems the right word. She was very driven, motivated. I don't think she'll desist easily. You're probably right. Juno could have made a great member of our house in different circumstances. Instead, she became a headache. You'll understand if you have a child of your own some night, fledgling. Anyway, I have some things to discuss with Agathon. Run along now. You leave the occult bookstore, the cheesy mystical music still in your ears as you walk away. You wonder about what happened with Juno. Why is she so anxious to leave her clan? Can she really do that? Could you leave Sophie's service if you really wanted to? We have a Pick My Voice from the Medloid Man, who has requested the voice of the dear, adorable Silka. And I can certainly endeavour to do the voice correctly, and I hope all of you enjoying tonight's stream. You come back to your haven after a long night on the town. There's still some time before the sun comes up, but sometimes you need a little break to relax, watch TV. As you open the door to your haven, it's clear something was wrong. You hear moaning from within. Oh no. Stepping cautiously inside, you see a man splayed on the floor. 40s, strong build, wearing a black suit. One of Sophie's servants. His face is a mess and a piece of bone is sticking out of his leg. Oh no, he's hurt. The ghoul moans through his broken teeth, only half conscious. Just as you're about to do something, the door to the apartment flies off its hinges in a loud crash behind your back. Freeze! Don't move! You turn around to see at least 6 police officers storming your apartment, 2-point guns at your face while the rest spread out to check the other rooms. One of the cops pushes past you into the living room. There's a body here. We're going to need an ambulance. You're still breathing. Bewildered, you gather your wits. There must be some way out of this ridiculous situation. There's a lot of cops, and I don't think we're that strong yet where we can do this to a lot of people. I just came in. I have no idea what happened. Please, you have to believe me. Save it for someone who gives a fuck. I'm not used to saying that word. Another policeman pushes you against the wall and yanks your hands behind your back. You consider using your vampiric powers, but how would you do that without breaking the masquerade? You glance at the body cameras the officers are wearing. Best make this look like a normal arrest. Still, sunrise is not too far away. Suddenly you hear a commotion out in the hallway. Sophie walks into the apartment surrounded by an entourage of serious-looking men and women in dark clothes. Some of them flash badges at the officers present. Mama's come to help us, guys! Oh no, our servant! He's broken! Sorry, Medloid Man, that was so perfect. Oh no, our table! You feel the power of Sophie's blood almost like a physical sensation on your skin. There's no saying no to her. This woman was with me when this terrible act of violence occurred. She has an airtight alibi. You've rarely seen Sophie wield the full extent of her powers. You're not sure how much is supernatural ability and how much is bribery and political connections. It doesn't matter. The injured man works for me. He must be hospitalized this instant. If he doesn't receive a full recovery, there will be consequences. For 15 minutes you watch as Sophie imperiously orders the police officers around. Some of the people she brought with her also seem to be police, but you're not sure. You catch Sophia grimacing in the direction of an empty corner, and something tells you that there might be a third vampire in the apartment. Your stalker, perhaps? The injured man gets carried away on a stretcher. The cops leave without even checking your ID. I love Sophie. Thank you, Mama. That was amazing. I know. One of the perks of serving me is that sometimes problems go away. Your stalker was here, but now she's left. Her name is Adelaide Davis, in case you were wondering. A lunatic. Sure, truly one of the more pestilent clans. Our stalker's a Malkavian? But she did something bad. We should stop that. How can I stop this from happening again? You can't, but we can. I'll arrange a little chat with Miss Davies. Later, you'll join me in Elysium and deal with this problem like the vampire you are. With words. Sophie leaves you alone. The idea of spending the day in the haven that's just been raided by the police seems risky, but you decide to trust Sophie's assurances. It's not like you have anything else to go on. I want to kind of like even out these side stories a little bit. Oh, but I do see we've come to that end of that particular Pick My Voice, but thank you so much, the Medloid Man. I love doing Stalker's voice, and thank you so much for requesting it. Let's do one more for our coterie, and then we'll do this one for, to get to part 2 of that, and then we'll do part 3 of the other stories. Oh, thank you for the stretch check, Clansinator, and for the hydrate check, Samuel. Honestly, having these little breaks between, like, chapters is quite good, because it gives me a chance to stretch and hydrate. So, we haven't spoken to D'Angelo in a while, so I'm very excited to see what happens next. The gift that keeps on giving. It's been a while since you've heard from D'Angelo. Maybe he's busy, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. Or maybe he's pissed off the wrong people and is now rotting in a ditch somewhere. Either way, now's a good time as any to check up on him. You make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to D'Angelo's office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. There's a note pinned to the door. You rip it off and scan the crooked lettering. There's been another one. At the scene now. Come to Bedstee? Corner of Pulaski and Garvey, ASAP. Okay. Looks like D'Angelo could use your help. Better get going. As you approach the address that D'Angelo gave you, a squad car passes you by, sirens blaring. Following it, you take a turn from Declab Avenue to Pulaski Street. Sure enough, the street is awash with red lights, and the 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner, next to an ambulance, confirm that you're in the right place. You move closer to what appears to be New York's finest convention, looking around in the hopes of spotting a familiar, if not altogether pleasant face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo was nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance of the building looks straight at you. He does a double take, and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself, as you notice him making his way towards you. No, we have nothing to hide. Just wait for him to approach. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You try to remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing that he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively, and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. Hey, this is an active crime scene. Be on your way. Oh my god, is that the same cop who went into our apartment? Oh, it's that asshole. No. D'Angelo's got such poor luck if we keep feeding in his chapters. That's actually a very good point, because I think the last time we fed was in this chapter and the gangrel one. But we were fine, guys. Everything went fine. Relieved but trying not to show it, you put on your best grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past a dark alley, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. If the smell of cigars and cheap cologne don't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around here in the first place, but still. Come on, I'm parked round the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering. No! No, I'm not going to feed on cops in the middle of, like, a city street. God damn it. No, that's way too risky. Hey, how about you do your shadow skulky thing? Maybe you can find some way to let me in from the inside. Shadowy skulky thing? Jesus, kid. Childish phrasing aside, it's a good approach as any, I guess. Without another word, he gets out of his car and heads for a nearby back alley. You watch in silence as he disappears into the shadows. A minute passes, then another one, and another. You begin to worry. What if there were more cops inside? What if your mouldy partner has gotten himself into trouble? Suddenly, a shadowy silhouette appears in one of the windows on the second floor. Looks like he made it after all. At least you hope it's him. The shadow waves at you and points to the corner of the building, opposite the two cops. You get out of the car and quietly make your way towards the alley. Sure enough, you find that a fire escape ladder has been conveniently dropped for you. Good work, D, you mumble to yourself as you climb to the second floor. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. His gift, our fate, I believe is what's written. Hang on. The place has been completely trashed. Knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, His gift, our fate. You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his dumb monologue. The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions keep piling on and now they've found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to shift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. I love it that he does his own narration for like the detective noir story he has in his head. Suddenly he tenses up as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye? Yeah, no blood, same as before. At least none spilled. So what does that tell us? That this was a feeding? That the killer is kindred? Might be the one we're after. Might doesn't make right. Let's not make assumptions until we see the body. Still, the pattern is consistent. God damn it, I hate where this is going. Why? The thin blood angle seems to check out. It looks like you were right. Yeah, well this time I'd rather be wrong, alright? Anyway, looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. We gotta see the body. Yeah, I imagine we're gonna have to see the state of the body. In for a penny, in for a pound. Might as well be prudent. My thoughts exactly. The Duskborn have it bad as it is. If I'm going to accuse one of them of breaching the Masquerade, I want solid evidence. And I mean rock fucking solid. Luckily for us, I might know someone who can get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, you know who this is? Yeah, the favor you owe me? Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murderer in Bedstoy. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile. So, are we good? Yeah, we're good. Next up, Kings County. Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence. For instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet place of underground parking, part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then, you glance over the undead gumshoe, as if to make sure his mouldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It isn't, or at least he's very good at hiding it. Hang on. Lips getting a bit dry. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from the side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back and make sure no one is following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, Room 112. You've got 20 minutes. D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. That's our cue. You followed the Fang detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, this wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence in which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors. Room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in the center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on the steel surface. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face. His features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice 2 small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clearer sign of a vampire attack, you have yet to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar fashion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut in with a remark. Sucked dry, just like the last one. Yeah, I'm guessing you noticed the teeth marks as well. He points at 2 barely visible marks on the victim's neck. Dead giveaway. Fuck. As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. With his eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you, yet. There are security cameras here? Let's hide. Quickly, quietly, you hop behind the oversized freezer, hoping D'Angelo will follow suit. Pressed against the wall, you tense up, hoping for the best but expecting the worst. The room, however, remains silent. You peer out from behind the freezer to assess the situation. The doctor calmly looks over the victim, jots something down on the clipboard, and walks out. If you could breathe a sigh of relief, you would. So hard. D'Angelo materializes from the shadows lingering against the wall across from you. He gives you a slight nod. Nice save, kid. My first instinct was to jump him, but hey, whatever works. Now come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit. Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin-blood Primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo, rather than arouse suspicion of his family and neighbours. Which is good, considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You look over at D'Angelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Look like time for subtlety is over. It only takes a couple of minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in front and in D'Angelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me? Fine, but leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. I love that he's just playing like the cool detective, just like leaning up against the pole with a cigar, like, I got answers for you. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground and smashes his back against the lamppost. Are you finished? Alright. Now you listen to me and listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I've got nothing better to do than hang around with the little puppet theatre you've made for yourself? Now, either you give me a lead I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time since you've met him, Larson looks speechless, his eyes wide with fear. He can only mutter under his breath. Hey, the Grokeman, how's it going? Glad you could join us. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. Two bad cops. Come on, Larson, just give us something. It's been a rough night. See, Robert? My assistant here is tidy as shit too. So, what's it gonna be? If you want my help, put me the fuck down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find who you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. I'm doing good, Grokeman. It's been a bit of a stressful afternoon, but I'm having a great time tonight, and I hope you guys are too. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder, like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look to your partner, meaning to ask what the whole things you'd rather forget deal was. As if sensing your curiosity, D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it abandoned, if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if there ever was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. I understood that reference. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, humans and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed out across the floor. D'Angelo leans over and whispers in your ear, "Oh God, the smell of his breath would be unbearable. Oh, God. No. D'Angelo, you're fucking great. I love you, mate, but... God, you should probably reek. I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what exactly you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows. Quietly. Everyone's probably like really high and really out of it, so let's just look for someone who looks extra twitchy, like they've got a lot on their mind. Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position, you slowly make your way across the large room. Not really knowing what you're looking for, you focus on the details. A knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even like the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so empty stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. A young, skinny woman hunched in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. Yeah, honestly, like, D'Angelo's great, but his teeth looks like a cemetery after a hurricane. And I feel really bad for saying it, but... Oh, God, that man's breath. No. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk. No, don't talk. Too loud. Like, she's really pretty. I feel really bad if she's the criminal. She seems halfway out of it. It's like the lights are on, but whoever's inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender. Alright, you like quiet? Got it. Can you tell me your name? Sana. That's what they call me. Suddenly you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There is a woman standing there, and something about it just screams kindred. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to get out of her way. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. You smile nervously without even knowing it. As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. What's that safe word again? The woman looks at you, tilting her head as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. Hello, madam. Hi. One, cheekbones are snatched. Two, dressed very classy lady. Three, I'm getting a sense she was maybe embraced in the 1800s, because man, that hairstyle is nice. Just like the look. Mwah. And she looks a lot like Sophia as well. You. Hey, Val. That's my assistant you got there. Do you mind? She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip of your neck loosen and you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Ginny. The manslayer. I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. By order of the prince himself, the girl is to meet her final death. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something too. Look, sweetie, I'm not here for some clit measuring contest. You want this to get ugly? Be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. He steps aside. Oh, is she the whip? She might be the whip of the court, because, like, the sheriff is Qadir. She might be the whip. Oh, that might be that's interesting. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look at the corner where you last saw Sana, but find no trace of the girl. Well, I could swear she was just here. Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction. Come on, kid, let's get out of this shithole. As you emerge from said shithole, you find the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost. Okay, kid, I know you got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. Okay, we're eventually going to find out who Valerie is, so I'm fine with that. We're going to find out where the girl is, so I'm just going to say, what do we do now? Our perp's gone and we're now on some psycho chicks shit list. What the hell do we do now? Well, the good news is we know who we're looking for. The bad news, Valerie knows it as well. She's the Scourge. I knew it. The Scourge, I believe they're also called the Whip. That's what I meant. She's a Scourge kid. Part enforcer, part assassin, all around pain in the ass. We'll be seeing more of her, you can bet on that. Before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid. I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some shit out and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It really has been a tough night. Okay, so before we continue stories, we have some more terms. The pyramid. The traditional hierarchy of blood bonds reaching from the top to the bottom of the pyramid used to define the Tremere. But after the fall of Vienna, their blood has recoiled and aborted all such connections. As such, it can no longer blood bond other kindred. Without the rigid structure ordering the clan into rank and value, some warlocks find themselves competing for anything that might allow them to gain some of their former power. Interesting. I actually wasn't familiar with that. I thought that was just like a general term for the hierarchy of structure of the Tremere. But that's interesting that it is a chain of blood bonds. I didn't know about that. That's very interesting. The Council of Seven. The 7 eldest and highest-ranking active members of Clan Tremere's pyramid. Blood Hunt. A punishment sentencing a vampire to final death at the fangs of their peers. The code of the kindred and the system for punishing transgression is the law of retaliation. I'm doing well, Samuel. I'm doing well. I'm probably just going to do maybe one more night's events, and then I'll be wrapping things up. Scourge. An executor, subordinate directly to the prince. Interesting. I've been curious, like, because when I was playing Vampire the Masquerade, like, LARPing it, the only role that I ever had within the Camarilla was Harpy. I was the Harpy, but I would maybe like to play a Scourge at some point if I was going to do, like, a Camarilla-style game. So, let us have a chat with this reporter, and then maybe we'll have a chat with the gangrel, but we'll just see how the night goes for us. A nosy reporter. You've taken care of Frank Doherty, but apparently there's someone still staking out Sophie's apartment. He's not that stupid, is he? Oh, I'll check. Have we seen what a harpy is? I don't believe that is has been clarified yet. Has it? No, we don't yet have that definition, but a harpy, in the sense of Vampire the Masquerade, is essentially they are like the herald. I believe the harpy is like, because I was playing 2nd edition Vampire the Requiem, so there was quite a bit of switch around for some of the terms, but I believe in 5th edition they're also called the herald, which is essentially like No, wait, they're two different things. Sorry, my brain's a bit scrambled. So yeah, the herald would essentially be like the one who proclaims the laws and decrees, sorry, of the prince. But a harpy would essentially be the one who would keep track of boons owed to other kindred. So if you said, this person has done me a favor, they owe me a boon of this level of power, then I would be the one to make a note of that and keep record. So if someone were ever to say, like, I invoke the boon of this character, I could be like, yep, as stated in that night, there was a boon declared or given of that degree. It was very much like I just had like a little notebook with me and I had to just keep track of everything, which was a little stressful, but it was a lot of fun still. Well, let's see just how dumb this reporter is. Yeah, it was kind of like a record keeper. Sorry, not a record creeper. The weather is cold and windy as you walk to Sophie's apartment. As a vampire, that doesn't matter anymore. You might have been saddled with eternal hunger, but at least you can ignore the wind chill. Just as you come to the door of Sophie's building, she storms out, murmuring into her phone. Yes, I know, don't worry. I trust you to handle it. You heard Sophie talk to her associates before. It's always the same. Generalities and vague suggestions. It makes you think she's involved in mysterious machinations, yet doesn't tell you anything. Sophie is dressed to kill, but there's nothing unusual in that. She likes to make an impression. A black car with tinted windows is waiting for her in front of the door. A chauffeur steps out to open the car door for her. Sophie notices you. I'm glad you're in the neighborhood. If you could look around for me one more time, that would be wonderful. You told me you'd gotten rid of that reporter. Turns out he's still here, snooping around. Sophie is very good at communicating disappointment. She doesn't have to do much to make it clear that she's unhappy to have to return to the issue. I'm so sorry, I'll fix this, don't worry. I would never doubt you. Do we get head pats for that? The reporter talked his way into the building during the day. Once the doorman understood what was happening, he threw him out. He showed old pictures of me to my neighbors. It's very awkward, you understand. Sophie disappears into the car and the chauffeur closes the door behind her. He watches the sleek vehicle disappears into the Manhattan traffic. Just one anonymous car among many. Oh, that reporter's fucking dead at this point. Best sit down somewhere and devise a plan of action. You go to a nearby diner, settle into a booth and order a coffee from the steely-eyed Latino waitress. As she brings you your cup, you describe Frank Doherty to her on the off chance she's seen something. Just as she's about to answer, you happen to look outside. Something catches your eye. The diner is brightly lit, so you lean closer to the window to see the street through it. You got lucky. Frank is standing on the sidewalk on the other side of the street, looking at something on his phone. You slide out of the booth, throwing a few small bills on the table. Mumbling something to the waitress, you step outside. This is all mysteries and lurking in the shadows. We're going to follow him covertly. For a reporter, Frank isn't terribly observant. You keep your distance, hiding behind people and cars. But he doesn't look around. It seems like he wants to find a private nook to inspect the photos he took tonight. An alley. He ducks in, and you follow. Oh God, it's you again. Please, I'm working on a different story, I swear. Frank retreats deeper into the alley. Don't worry, Frank. I know all about why you're here. You do? I mean... Okay, I'm sorry I tried to bullshit you. Just tell me how I can help you. You're sneaking around with a camera. Again. Why? I'm a reporter. I report. It's just my job. Look, I don't want any trouble. I can see that you're serious. There is something to Sophie Langley. I think you know what it is. You take a long, hard look at Frank Doherty. He's a tenacious man, but not brave. After the last time you met, you were sure he'd been dealt with. Where did he find the courage to come here again? Don't you have better stories to investigate? Corruption, financial fraud, political scandals? That's the kind of story I used to do. before I lost everything. Oh, yeah, chat, I'm actually, like, on... I see what you're getting at. I think he's being either paid off or being encouraged and paid by someone who maybe also is a kindred to make Sophie look bad, or to entice a masquerade breach or something like that because she hasn't been, like, covert enough in changing her appearance. Maybe. Maybe. That's just, like... We'll see how things go. I have a feeling Frank's gonna die, though. For a second, Frank looks lost, like a little boy who doesn't know where to go. Then he recovers. But you can't keep me down. I'm a reporter to my dying breath. Hell, if I didn't have this job, I'd start a blog and do it for free. Anything to get the facts out. You almost believe it, but something about Frank feels off. I'm gonna hold off on using my powers just yet, and just, like, if there's a way I can, like, seal the deal with my powers, and I'll save it for that. I'm trying not to use my powers too much, because I think I used them a bit too much earlier on in the game. Do you have a personal interest in Sophie Langley, Frank? What? No. Or, I mean, she is a very attractive woman, but I make it a rule to never get involved with people I write about. Come on, Frank, you must have a personal reason. Is this revenge for something she did to you? No, I've never met Sophie Langley. Sometimes I just need some extra money, that's all. He's totally getting paid off to do this. Where does this extra money come from? There's a guy. He's paying me, that's all, but I can't talk about that. This information is more important than feeding ourselves, so... We need information. Come on, you can give me more than that. No, really. Even I don't know all that much about these people. You're a reporter. What do your instincts tell you? I'm not sure. I can't get a handle on them. I don't think it's blackmail or a business rival or an ex. Okay, that's enough. I can't tell you anything more. You gotta consider the position I'm in. Sophie said to make this stop, so I'm gonna make it stop. We're not done, Frank. Fine. I'll leave her alone. I'm done with this. It was all bullshit anyway. You can tell Sophie Langley that you won't see me anymore. As Frank leaves the alley, you consider your victory. He sounded defeated. Sincere. Is it really up to him whether he returns or not? Okay. Because if he comes back a third time, that is when the fangs are coming out. But I think we've played that fairly well. Like, we haven't insinuated that there is something weird about Sophie. Just like, why are you doing this? Why are you creeping around, following her? Hey, Spartacus, how's it going? Welcome back. And yeah, I have a feeling he's probably been stalking the building for a while, so he's probably seen us coming and going, and maybe even seen us, like, chatting to Sophie on an occasion or two. And yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if maybe this is, like, some Second Inquisition shit. Because fuck the Second Inquisition. Let us rest up. Sophie requests your presence tonight, and it seems urgent. You find her already waiting for you and clearly pondering something. It takes a few minutes of awkward silence before she speaks. I require your assistance, Stephanie. There is a matter of great importance that I need to ask you to resolve for me. You'll find what I'm about to say surprising, I'm sure, but I need you to hear me out. I need you to contact an important anarch figure in New York City and arrange a meeting for us. Yeah, isn't that against Camarilla stuff? Wait, I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to meet with anarchs. We're at war, right? The prince does look unfavorably at those who meet with the anarchs, that much is true. You'll find that with this, as with many other things, the Camarilla's policies have more than their share of hypocrisy inherent in them. It comes hand in hand with using medieval power structures. With what we are forbidden to do, The prince may do willingly. Some of these things may be done in the open, while others are kept secret so as to not invite discord and discontent. I need to contact a man named Torque. He's an influential member of the movement and, like most of them, very suspicious of the Camarilla. That's why I'm sending you to extend my invitation. How do I know he'll even talk to me? He won't. Not yet, anyway. You need to start further down the chain, with the right story to spin. From my limited sources adjacent to the movement, I've gathered that your best chances to speak with Torque is to first meet with his right-hand woman, Mia. She's a regular at a club called the Leech Pit. Oh, that's a great name for a club. Is it a biker club? I think it would be best if you presented yourself as an anarch hopeful, a fledgling looking for a place of belonging. Only after you talk to Torque, directly should you mention my name and the meeting. Yeah, that's a good point. Lying is not good with them. I don't think that's the right approach. Oh, I'm not saying that you're wrong, Sophie. Of course not. You're perfect, flawless. Lying to them won't make them trust me. When they find out the truth, they won't be happy or eager to work with us. That might be true, but if you tell Mia outright that I sent you, she'll likely cut you off. She hates our sect, and it will be difficult to make her listen to reason. After tonight, I suggest that we do not speak of this again until you arrange the meeting. There are many who would jump at the chance to use this against us. With Kaiser, you have proven that you can get the job done, even if it requires additional legwork. I trust you to deal with this task quickly and covertly as possible. Forgive me, but that's all the time I can spare tonight. What I'm asking of you is part of the bigger whole. Trust me, it will all be worth it. Whatever you want, Mama. I know you will. Check with Gregory for the address of the Leech Pit. Have me introduce you to Torque. When she does, tell him I wish to meet. Let him pick the time and place, but let it be soon. I don't believe we've met Mia yet. You might be thinking of Mimi, my vampire biker character. If he proves too guarded, tell him I have something that will help him gather allies against Boss Callahan. That should pique his interest. Good luck. And obviously, not a word about this to anyone else. Not even any new friends you might have made in recent nights. This stays between us. Oh, thank you so much. I'm really glad that you guys like Mimi so much. She's a delight to play and to write for. Mia was Mimi is my vampire biker character. I didn't really write her with a clan in mind, but I can't remember the name of the gangrel that we have in our coterie now. That's a good point. Oh, but we do have a Pick My Voice from Samwell. It's been a while since we heard the Countess Stephania Swan. Well, I could certainly oblige with such a kind request. Oh, it's been a while since I've done this voice, but I do hope you all enjoy it very much. The way she says that final sentence suggests a not-so-veiled threat, but her warm smile belies that impression. You want her to keep trusting you. You wouldn't want to disappoint her. Gregory gives you the address. The club is in Brooklyn. Apparently it's some kind of heavy metal bar with a dedicated concert space. Time to pay this Mia a visit. The place is teeming with people tonight. You arrive in the middle of a concert. The music is loud, almost deafening, and it takes you a while to get used to it. This is not your scene at all. You can barely focus through the noise, but you grit your teeth and decide to bear it. The sooner you find Mia, the sooner you'll get out of this hole. Oh, chat. You missed me, didn't you? A group of a few dozen patrons are tightly packed together, and the smell of their sweat and youthful, excited blood overwhelms you momentarily. It's with some difficulty that you turn to the task at hand. You've heard your share about the anarchs and how they fit into kindred politics, but you only have your short encounter in Corona Park on which to base your actual opinion of the faction. That might have been just a horrible first impression, but you're keeping your guard up just in case. From the looks of the frame of blood around the screen, we're doing alright for now, so I don't think we need to feed at the moment. Oh. Chat, we're too kind. I'm not going to feed quite yet, although I am tempted to, but let us mingle with the crowd. I'm sure Mia will find us, or we'll find her. You take a walk around the club. There are a few side rooms and a spacious bar area. You listen in on conversations taking place with voices hoarse from shouting, walking on a particularly sloppy threesome in the bathroom, and eventually hit the dance floor for a better feel of the place. As the concert comes to an end, you witness one of the guests, a feisty-looking girl, get into a scuffle with a much larger, drunk guy. She doesn't seem to appreciate him reaching around her waist, slapping him with an audible crack that sends him to the ground, unconscious. 2 bouncers break up the crowd to pick up the drunk to carry him outside. Without so much as questioning the woman, you get an inkling that she might be who you were hoping to find. You approach her as she's about to leave. Yeah, the fuck do you want? She's still seething and bares her teeth for just a moment, but you've learned what to look for in kindred. You're pretty sure she's one of you. Heard about this spot is to meet hot chicks who hate the patriarchy. Anarchs, you could say. Oh, seriously. That's the best line you came up with? She doesn't smile, but she doesn't hit you either. Follow me behind the bar. She leads you through the bar and to a back door that leads into a side room. Indie metal band posters are plastered on every wall, some of them 20 or more years old, judging from the tour dates. An old sticky table and some rickety chairs are the only pieces of furniture here. Sit down. I'll just show a little bit of rebellion. I think I'm comfortable standing, thanks. She shrugs her shoulders. Suit yourself. She leans against one of the walls. The name's Mia. I guess your visit here isn't a happy coincidence. I don't know you, so you're either new to New York or kept an outstandingly low profile. Both sound suspect. So, before we take these pleasantries further, answer me this. Who do you run with? Samuel, you flatter me. Let's just say that we're independent for now. Let's not bring anything suspicious yet. I'm independent. I don't bow to anyone. Isn't that adorable? Listen, fledgling, you don't get to be this fresh in the game and not pick a side. Those Second Inquisition fucks are all too happy to pick on delusional kids like you. So are the Cams. They offer you rewards aplenty for your servitude, but never actually deliver. Fortunately for you, there's another option. But before I get to that, let's get one thing out of the way. She leans in. If this is some clever ploy to oust me from my domain, or you're just here to spy on me on the movement, I'll make sure you don't enjoy undeath much longer. Got it? You can tell it's purely a rhetorical question. Right, here's the pitch. The Camarilla likes to think they're the vanilla option, what with Prince Bitch Panhard pretending that they're always in charge, but New York has never been a fully Cammy city. They might have won the city in '99, but Cams have had their asses handed to them many times over the years, and the movement has been here at least as long as they have. Hell, I moved to NYC before World War II, and that was a good while after I saw the Camarilla for what they are, a way to keep us all subservient and in line. The ivory tower will tell you they're the only safeguard for the traditions, but that's kind of the problem. There's only one tradition that we in the movement feel should be respected. The Masquerade, obviously. Anything else? Ask the prince, and she'll tell you it's the logical continuation of the Masquerade. But really, it's just a way to keep the elders powerful and in control. She grimaces. I must say I'm also getting some Sigourney Weaver vibes from her, especially like the haircut and the bone structure, I must say. But here's the thing. For all the talk of us bloodsuckers being solitary creatures, we need a community to keep up the masquerade. Community, yes, but authority, not so much. We need a council of peers to keep the assholes and power-drunk fledglings in check, but not a feudal prince to tell you where to feed or who to hunt down when they step on her toes. She takes a brief break from her indignant rant. That sounds too good to be true. Mia bares her teeth in a predatory smile. You better believe it. Sure, we still have a struggle with the urges of our kind, but it's safer and more fair. We're as free as our condition permits, but unlike Otrakas, we don't stand alone. Nominally, a guy by the name of Callahan has been overseeing the movement agenda in NYC for the past few decades. Most follow his lead. You make it sound like it's most, but not you? Yeah, not me. If you're concerned about being well received in the city, you might need to go through Callahan. But if you're serious about the Anarch cause itself, it's not your guy. He's not your guy. Callahan eats up fledglings like you and shits out self-preservation. His position as Baron is mighty shaky now, not least due to the fact he's backstabbed more than his share of allies. So he's doing what any old fart in a position of power would do. He's doubling down. Negotiations are out, intimidation is in. Tightening ranks as a precaution against the Second Inquisition. And with that, we have gone a little bit over our time for that particular Pick My Voice, but thank you so much for requesting it, Samwell. It is always a delight to bring the Countess out. She surprises you by hacking and spitting on the ground in disgust. If you spend some time with the Cams, that should sound very familiar to you. He's no better than Panhard and her cronies at this point. No, you need to contact Talk, and wouldn't you know it, it's your lucky night, because I'm the lick to do it through. Talk, huh? Why him? Because he's one of the good guys, or at least as good as we leeches can be. Talk is a leader, a local baron who's overseeing a small domain, but doing a very good job of it. Callahan knows this, so he's giving him shit. Talk is taking it like a champ. He's smart like that. For one of us rebels, he's got the patience of a saint. Makes you think back to the way things used to be way back when. If the stories are to be believed, anyway. Oh, thank you for the hydrate and the structure check, guys. Oh. Needed that. I think after we finish this encounter, we'll be wrapping things up for the night. Just a heads up. You want to meet him? I'm going to require a show of goodwill first. We're playing along with what they want, because we need to speak to Talk. That's fair. What do you have in mind? She flashes you a mischievous half-smile. I appreciate your readiness, but I don't have the details just now. Ask for me at the bar when you're able. I'll leave something for you and we'll take it from there. Now come on, I gotta go. She walks you out of the bar and you go your separate ways. Seem like there's nothing more to do than return here later and see if Mia actually can help you contact Talk. I'm sure she will. We'll probably just have to prove ourselves. I think we can do one more and then we'll wrap things up. So this is... Oh, this sounds like a good one to end the night on. That one is interesting. But I think I should save it for next time. But I really want to wrap up this plot line with our stalker and finally confront her. Somebody's Watching Me, Part 3. You've had enough of Adelaide Davis. It's time to head for Elysium. and confront her with Sophie at your side. Yes. Yes. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Visiting Elysium with Sophie is always a humbling experience. She's connected, well-known, important. You're a nobody. You've always known this, of course, but it's especially apparent when you arrive with her. Everyone notices her and she drinks it in like it's her birthright. That's Adelaide Davis. Let's go say hello. You spot the woman Sophie is referring to. Adelaide, your stalker. Intense, dishevelled, young-looking. A Malkavian, if you've understood correctly. As you approach, Adelaide looks at you with undisguised hatred. My two favourite people. I love you too, Adelaide. Adelaide looks from Sophie to you and laughs mirthlessly. The sound is creepy enough to make people glance towards you. I'll never stop. You should know that. I'm relentless. What is this all about? I understand why you hate me, but why hate Stephanie? Oh, was she maybe like a former, protege of Sophie's? Was she maybe like the previous us, essentially? Because that would make a lot of sense why she hates us so much. Adelaide looks so angry. For a moment you fear she'll hit you, Elysium or no. As if you don't know. They called me a creep. That's very insulting, especially to someone like me. Was that when you were creeping invisible in my haven? Yes. Sophie sighs. You have to stop. Otherwise I'll take this to Qadir. Do that. I have friends much more powerful than him. I'm not apologising for jack shit. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm going to say please, just stop. Just please stop. I never stop. Never ever. Adelaide locks eyes with you, ignoring Sophie. Let's talk later. We'll have some fun together. Adelaide walks away. Sophie watches her go before she says anything. She's a lunatic. They say all kinds of things. Don't worry about it. She knows that if she crosses the line, there will be consequences. Sophie steps away to chat with her friends, and you look at the kindred around you, wondering how many would really help you in times of trouble. Probably not many. Okay, that was maybe like a little bit less climactic than I was expecting, because I was fully expecting for like her to be offed or disciplined in front of the court, but oh. I don't like that she's just roaming around out there, just like stewing in her hatred for us. Oh no. But I don't think you guys saw it, but there was a Steam achievement that came up, so I have a feeling that that particular storyline is wrapped up. So we just have to live with the thought that Adelaide, our stalker, is just walking around New York City, thinking about us, hating us and Sophie. That's an unsettling thought. But I think with that, I will be wrapping things up this evening. I did say I was going to have a slightly shorter stream tonight, but I had so much fun with this. Thank you all so much for joining me this evening. And I hope you all had a wonderful time. If you've been lurking in the shadows and you like what you've seen so far, please consider hitting that follow. We would love to have you back at the Blue Rose Respite. You are welcome anytime. Be sure to check out my other socials in the chat at the moment. My Twitter for important updates and other fun shenanigans. My YouTube channel for my ASMR tales. I just also want to say to everyone who checked out my latest ASMR tale with my beautiful, wonderful, majestic primal dragon, Citaral the Eternal. Thank you all so very much. I have to check the numbers, but we were almost at like 4,000 views in 24 hours, which is absolutely incredible. Thank you all so very much. And Salvaholder, thank you so much for the 500 bits. Great work powering through this evening. It was really enjoyable. Thank you so much, Salvaholder, because honestly, I was not in a good place this afternoon, and I was really thinking like, maybe I should cancel tonight, but I'm like, no, I'll just do a slightly shorter stream because I still want to do something awesome for you guys. But I had such a fun time tonight because I just love Vampire the Masquerade so much, and I had so much fun with this. So I really, really do appreciate the bits. Thank you so much for your support. You guys are absolutely incredible. I had so much fun with this, and thank you all so very much for joining me. I hope you all have an amazing week ahead. Let me just check if there's anyone currently live I can send you to. Let me send you over to Deckheart Games again, which are absolutely amazing, and I absolutely dream of working or collabing with them someday, either on a voice acting project or another fun thing. But they are also the Prince and the Seneschal from LA by Night, so be sure to give them plenty of love from the Blue Rose Respite. But thank you all so very much for joining me tonight. I hope you all have a fantastic week ahead, and remember, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and as always, stay wicked and wonderful. Good night, guys.